Support this podcast via our Patreon and get more writerly goodness. Visit patreon.com/nanocast to join up.
Welcome to NaNoWriMo Every Month. My name is J. Daniel Sawyer. I'm the author of some 20 books, 34 short stories, and numerous articles and other things, and I am your guide on this journey to use NaNoWriMo to level up to professional output levels. Now it's day 8, and I'm going to take another moment off to the side and talk about what makes a story worth telling. What makes a story worth telling is not that you had a deadline. What makes a story worth telling, and particularly what makes a story worth reading, is that it's a story that your character needs. Now, it could be that your character needs this story in order to find redemption or to become a better person, or it could be that your character needs the story because they're stuck in a rut in life and need to come into their own. But it matters that your character needs the story. It particularly matters that whatever story your character finds themselves in, that story is the most important story they have ever been in up to that point in their life. If your story is something minor, like, set around a shoplifting incident or something, you're going to have a much easier time getting a bang for your buck out of a character that's 10 years old, and this is the most risky thing they've ever done, and they may be getting into real trouble for this. You're going to have an easier time writing the story with that character than you are writing a story about a kleptomaniac that shoplifts routinely, unless that kleptomaniac gets caught for the first time as an adult with something major in their purse or pockets. The stakes that make a reader read through the story are a sense that whatever is going on is important. The actual scale of the event relative to your experience or to your reader's experience matters far less than the scale of the event measured against your character's experience. And the reason's very simple. If what's happening is something that is not beyond your character's ability to handle, you've got a very short story. You've got a character in a setting with a problem that they can solve without any trouble. But when the problem is big enough that the character can't possibly solve it, or that the character maybe could solve, but they're going to have to really work for it, then you've got a story. And with a problem like that, the stakes for that character have to be high enough that they're willing to go to the trouble to solve that problem. If they've got a problem that's that difficult to solve, but it's not that important to them, they're going to leave it behind. They're not going to engage with it, and if they do, you've got a problem with your story. But if the problem is something that's important to them, that'll get them out of their comfort zone to try to solve it, that'll make them willing to get in trouble and cope with that cascading series of complications and failures that make up your story, then you've got something that'll pull the reader along. Whatever it is has to be important enough for your character to bother with. It has to be important enough for them. It has to be the most important moment in their life so far. Now, that so far is important because if you're dealing with series characters and you're writing a prequel, you don't want to be giving them a problem in the prequel that they would have trouble dealing with at their current stage of development in your series. And you can also get away with doing things in the prequels on a much smaller scale and still making it interesting to series readers because they're engaging your character at an earlier point in time when your character's resources were not as well developed. So, as you go on through the story, make sure that you've got your stakes right, that you've got the most important moment in your character's life. And you're only at day 8 now, so you've still got time, if the stakes are running too low, to raise the stakes, to turn that small initial problem into something that the character really has to pay attention to because they can't afford not to. And then you, my friend, have a story. I'll see you tomorrow. NaNoWriMo Every Month is written and presented by J. Daniel Sawyer and produced by Artistic Whispers Productions. Visit our website at NaNoWriMoEveryMonth.com and leave a tip in the tip jar to support this podcast. NaNoWriMo Every Month is copyright 2015 by J. Daniel Sawyer and Artistic Whispers Productions and released under a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial No Derivatives license.